It's Game 6 on the 9-game West Coast swing as the Astros look to close up shop here in Seattle. The Stros made the Mariners' path to the wild card a sticky one with last night's 2-1 win. That behind Colin McHugh. And they look to throw some pine tar on the path tonight as they send Nick Tropiano to the bump for his Major League debut. Hi, everybody. Alan Ashby and Jeff Blum with you. Julia Morales joins in just a little while. Last night, a nice 2-1 victory for the ball club. Along with the pitching, nice night for Jonathan Villar and John Singleton.
Yeah, it was a good night for the Johns. They both stepped up, did pretty good. Got some good defense out of Villar. Big hit early in that game, but John Singleton had a couple of knocks. One game. I'd like to see it happen a little more often, though.
Big night truly about the pitching, though. Colin McHugh continues to pitch great ball for the club.
Yeah, he did a great job last night. Had a couple of rough starts previously against those Seattle Mariners. All those at home at Minute Maid, where he gave up 5 runs in each of those 2 starts, but came out here today with a little more, or last night with a little more purpose. Did great. 8 innings pitched. You see those 4 strikeouts, not as high as normal, but really had a good slider down and into those left-handed hitters.
Colin McHugh, just a part of a staff that's pitching very well here in September. Overall, the staff is #1 in Major League Baseball. The starting staff even better.
Yeah, it's amazing what these guys are going out there and doing. It's almost a competition between these guys to see who can one-up each other. They're doing a great job. Dallas Keuchel, Colin McHugh right there, stepping up and leading the way for some of these guys behind him.
Rookie right-hander Nick Tropiano goes to the mound tonight for the Astros. Had a really good year in the PCL this year at Oklahoma City and looks to continue that with the debut here tonight.
Did a really good job. Earned the right to come up here and get those starts. And you see Tom Lawless and Adam Everett and guys in that dugout really wanting to get this guy into the rotation. Got to go give a little bit of credit to the Crawfish boxes for giving us this tape right here so you get a peek at what Nick Tropiano is going to bring. He's got a fastball in the low 90s, good split-fingered fastball, a good curveball, but his out pitch is a changeup. Does a good job of setting that up, working both sides of the plate. But look for him against left-handed hitters to go to that changeup and put them away. In AAA, left-handed hitters only hit a $149 off of him.
There was a Jonathan Villar sighting last night in Seattle as the mercurial shortstop gave fans a dazzling reminder of his ample upside. Can he harness his lightning into a more consistent package? Julia talks with the coaches about Villar's potential when we return.
time this season. And with September call-ups recently, there's a lot of extra guys on this ball club crowding up the dugout just a little bit. But there's a lot of guys that Tom Lawless is trying to get into the lineup each and every night. He had a meeting with the infielders recently telling them to just be ready when you show up to the ballpark. I'm not sure who I'm going to put in the lineup. And Jonathan VR is one of those guys that they're trying to see. And after a great game last night, he's in the starting lineup for the second straight night. Last night here, he was 2 for 4 with a double, but the big hit for VR came in the ninth. It was a go-ahead RBI single. This would give the Astros the win against the Mariners. They're tying up the series and showed a lot of confidence in that last at bat, and that came after a night where he was superb. VR more consistently. Saying wants to work on focus. Well, our Geico quote of the day is Tom Lawless backing that up, saying he could be that player every day if his focus and concentration is like that night after night. Well, he also made another coach happy. Pat Listash, the infield coach, has been working with him a lot this year. Told me last night that's the guy we saw in April. We've seen this in spring training. We saw it in April, but he lost his way. He has to be able to show that he can do this daily, especially when he's given these opportunities here at the end of the season. Well, VR is going to get another opportunity tonight. He and the Astros are hoping to give Lloyd McClendon and the Mariners playoff hopes a case of the blues. Can Chris Carter and the Astros solve sinker baller Iwakuma and grab a happy flight to California? Lineups and first pitch coming up next.
In the box. Right now at Jack in the Box, try Jack's new spicy chicken club combo. It's just $4.99 plus tax. And by AT&T UVerse TV. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. Mobilizing your world. We're at Safeco Field here in downtown Seattle. And they're having a good time. They're looking to see their Seattle Mariners pick up a W. It's the rubber game of the series, each team winning one ball game. For the Astros tonight, that starting lineup presented by Jack in the Box. It'll feature Robbie Grossman in the top spot. He's in left, followed by second baseman Jose Altuve and the center fielder Dexter Fowler. Middle three, Chris Carter, John Singleton, and Matt Dominguez. And the bottom three in the order, Alex Presley gets a start in right field. Doing the catching tonight, Max Stassi, his first appearance of the season for the Astros, and Jonathan VR after a big night last night at shortstop.
Hisashi Iwakuma for the Seattle Mariners, having another great year. You're going to see his numbers on the season. He's going for his 15th win in 25 starts. Keep an eye on that strike-to-walk ratio. He likes to throw a lot of strikes, and he's been pitching quite well. His numbers against the Astros are 2-1, 4.12 ERA. That's in 3 games started. They've got 22 hits and 19 2/3 innings off Iwakuma, but look for them to be a little more aggressive against a strike thrower like Iwakuma.
They are very impressive numbers for Iwakuma in terms of not walking people, just 14 walks over the course of his season. And it leaves him with a whip that's below the 1 mark. First pitch on Robbie misses. For Iwakuma, just his 3rd year now in a Seattle uniform, he falls behind 2-0.
Told you he was going to throw strikes.
There's some news with Iwakuma. 14 walks in 160 innings.
He has got some numbers that you like to see, Ash. Fewest pitches per inning. Second on that list at 13.8 pitches per inning.
Very impressive.
I've got more.
Bring it.
Please hold. Fewest percentage of pitches with a 3-ball count. 4%. Not bad.
Like it.
Highest strike percentage. He's 4th at 69.5% strikes thrown.
And now 2-2 as he gets Robbie Grossman fishing.
Well, and he's going to get a lot of chases on that split finger. It's pretty nasty.
It's kind of rare when you've got a guy that throws a splitter and doesn't walk many people.
It is.
Again, you turn back to that whip figure. It's 0.990, so not many base runners against him. There it is. Strike 3 call at the knees. Grossman caught looking. That's how we started tonight.
Pretty nasty. Take some speed off that and still throw it for a strike. Almost looked like a BP fastball the way that one just sank. The pitch before had a lot of bite to it.
See up there at the front of the plate where that was right at the knees of Robbie Grossman. Brings up Jose Altuve. It's been a quiet series for Jose. 0 for 7 to this point. Still leading the league in hitting by 1 point as he starts play today. Victor Martinez right behind him. Well, it's time to get hot again for Jose Altuve, and he lines one, but right at Cano. So he hits it on the screws, lines out, second out here in the 1st inning.
There's a bullet off of Altuve's bat. We're going to see who's going to be playing around that outfield here at Safeco Field. Number 99, James Jones in left. Austin Jackson in center. Michael Saunders in right. Around the infield, Seager, Miller, Cano, Morrison, and Mike Zunino behind the plate, working with Iwakuma.
That brings up Dexter Fowler, 0 for his last 8. See the flags just barely moving. We've had a little bit of a breeze here at the ballpark, and it's turned chilly this evening. Dexter offers and fouls it. Slightly on the cool side the last couple of nights, but tonight, I don't know. What do you think? Drop
It's
maybe
cooler, yeah.
8-10 degrees?
No, it's a little more, around 6.5 degrees.
Okay. I'm good with that. I see you working with your instruments over there. 0-1 pitch. Dexter hitting .268. So Altuve with the 0 for 1 now at .335. Iwakuma brings it. Definitely got under that breaking ball. Dexter has 8 dingers on his year, 31 RBIs, and he scored 53 runs. He's been a guy that when he's in there, the Astros tend to win. Good splitter at the knees. Or is that the fastball?
I think that was a heater.
89 miles an hour. Little sink to it. 2-2 the count. And it's away. Seattle Mariners are hanging in that wild card race in the American League. They start the day in the West 2 games back of Oakland and 10 games back of division leading LA. The Angels have just run away and hid. They're 8 games in front of Oakland. Down on strikes, Dexter Fowler, a pitch maybe up out of the strike zone. And so a 1-2-3 first with a couple of strikeouts for Iwakuma. Play. Mariners coming to bat. A couple of strikeouts for Iwakuma in that top of the first inning. For the Seattle Mariners, it'll be Austin Jackson leading off in center field, followed by right fielder Michael Saunders. Robinson Cano moves into the 3 spot, playing at second. Middle 3, Kendry Morales, he's the DH. At third base, Kyle Seager. And at first, Logan Morrison. In the bottom 3, Brad Miller. He's at short doing the catching, Mike Zunino. And James Jones with his speed will be in left field.
On the mound for the Houston Astros, rookie Nick Tropiano, getting the call from AAA where he had a great season. You see those numbers, 9-5. Pretty good whip when he was down there, right around 1-2. Giving up 11 home runs in 124 and 2/3 innings. He was a 5th round pick in 2011 out of Stony Brook University. Stands at 6'4", 205, so he should be able to eat up innings with that frame.
And there's Deborah and Paul Tropiano, mom and dad for Nick Tropiano.
Also heard that Nick left 20 tickets to today's ball game to see his first start here in the big leagues.
His first pitch in the major leagues, a fastball right at the knees for a strike. Looks like there might be some serious paperwork taking place as well.
Fastball curve is a little more slurvy, split finger and a changeup. Split finger is maybe about 3 or 4 miles an hour faster than his changeup.
I saw that comment about Tropiano that he's got the kind of body of an innings eater, and I'm kind of curious. Do you have a response for that?
Just those big, strong kids, 6'4", 205. There's plenty of meat to be put on that frame. That's just that's a scout's way of looking at guys. They want to look at guys that are able to beef up and last the entire duration of 162 games and 35 starts.
Breaking ball right there, taking strike 3 to Austin Jackson. And the first man faced by Tropiano in the big leagues is a punch out, and mom and dad and company are rather pleased.
Yeah, he's not afraid to throw that split finger or change up to either side of the plate, or either hitter, right-handed or left-handed. Complete elation and excitement right there.
That's good. Don't have a whole lot of folks in the ballpark tonight, but it appears that a fair percentage will be rooting for Nick Tropiano.
At least a quarter of them, it looks like.
You're going to have to verify that, but it's going to be close to that, I think. Michael Saunders steps out. Saunders 6 dingers on the year while hitting .274. Good right fielder. 1-0 the count. The roof is open here in Seattle, and again, it's certainly chilly this evening, but it might be an ideal night for the pitchers. Flying shot on it. A couple of hops and past VR as it looked like his feet got frozen in place.
No, you're exactly right, Ash. That ball was smoked. And sometimes we always talk about how a line drive to the outfielder right at him is the toughest place. Sometimes it can be like that for the infielder, but you can see those feet got kind of heavy on Jonathan VR as you get a better look at it right here. Maybe one more step to his left. He's able to corral that ball, but tried to go after it with the glove. And you want to see a guy like Jonathan VR put back to back to back and start stringing together some games where he makes all those fantastic plays that we saw like he did last night.
That's what I thought I witnessed early on in the season. I thought VR came out of the spring playing really good, solid defense at shortstop. But it started to turn on him, and when it did and his bat was very cold, it was just time to go back to the minor leagues. Robinson Cano in the 3 spot. It's got to be something for Nick Tropiano to step on the hill. First major league game, and in that first inning now facing Robinson Cano. Two 2-0 the count. Tropiano pitched briefly with the Astros back in spring training. Appeared in 3 games, just 2 2/3 innings. Did allow 6 hits, but did not allow an earned run. And now falls behind 3-0.
Kind of got that long reach back arm action. Creates some run on the right-handed, away from left-handed hitters.
You know those numbers, Blummer, that you mentioned at AAA this year, Oklahoma City. Very impressive numbers for a pitcher in the PCL. 3-0 is popped up shallow in center field. Coming on Dexter. He'll make the catch. 2 down here in the first inning. So Cano green lights it and pops out on that 3-0.
Saw Dexter Fowler out there in center. Alongside him, you're going to see Robbie Grossman in left, Alex Presley in right. That left side of the infield, you're going to see Domingo again at third base. Jonathan Villar with back-to-back starts at short. Jose Altuve at second. John Singleton had himself a big night last night also at first base. And doing the catching is going to be Max Stassi, who's been working with Nick Tropiano down there in AAA. So a little bit of a comfort factor for Nick, having Max back there for this first big league start.
Well, maybe a comfort factor for Max Stassi as well, as he receives it well for the strike at the knees. Kendry Morales, a July pickup for Seattle, hitting .227. Switch hitter with power. Just the first inning, but that major league debut for Nick Tropiano. Tropiano 31-24 lifetime in the minor leagues. It's a brief set of numbers since 2011. Appeared in 90 minor league games, 78 as a starter. You've been around all these pitchers as they make debuts. And there's that changeup you talked about. And left-hand hitters have had just a terrible time with that pitch.
Miserable. We talked about in the open, hitting a 149 against that changeup.
Runner goes, the pitch fouled back. Try to convince pitchers that, you know, you need to throw that against right-handers as well. And it's for some guys, something they just don't have the confidence to do.
And I have not heard that about Nick Tropiano. In talking to Steve Sparks, who's talked to a couple different people, knowing that he has both the split finger and the changeup, he said he is not afraid to throw that right on right.
It's kind of astounding the split because he's so dominant on the lefties. This one is popped up shallow on the left side. Matt Dominguez calling, now called off by VR. Never seen a pop-up he doesn't like. He takes it, and that'll do it for the M's in the first inning. We're scoreless after 1.
Carter coming to the plate, and we talked about some of his recent success. It's lasted a good 3 months now, really shortened up that swing and being a little more aggressive in the zone. And we talked about how his head is a little bit more still at the plate. The balance is good, but he's not chasing as many pitches as he did when he started out the season. He was really hanging over that outside corner, you can see, with a lot of those swings and misses out over the plate. But now he's brought everything back. He's looking for pitches he can drive, stop chasing those sliders and fastballs on the outer third, and it's turned into a great deal of success. You see the average going from 191 to 294 versus some of those fastballs that he's being a little more patient for and waiting for out over the plate.
Off-speed pitch finds the inside corner. Yep. It looks to me like Carter has just kind of gotten quieter, softer at the plate, a little more direct to the baseball, and that helps a great deal not only on the breaking balls but on the fastball. There's that splitter. If you fall behind on Iwakuma, you're going to see that pitch at some point.
And we've seen early on here the ability to throw that split finger for a strike also. Makes it equally as tough. Get to 2 strikes, he throws that nasty one that darts out of the zone.
And if you have the notion that you're going to try to find yourself a walk, you're probably going to be disappointed. Just will not walk many. Carter, Singleton, and Matt Dominguez here in the 2nd inning. So that list of home run leaders. Pitch hit in the air and fairly deep toward right center field. Back and under is Austin Jackson, and out number 1 here in the 2nd inning.
Good swing. He waited for that ball to be elevated.
Yes, he did. Yeah, that was a very good looking swing, I thought.
Just missed it. It sounded good off the bat.
Because he's not taking enormous swings, to hit a ball in that direction and get it out, he'll have to get about all of it. But that swing is really paying dividends.
He's got enough pop to where he doesn't have to swing hard every single time up there either.
John Singleton comes to the plate, hitting just 181. 13 bombs on the year, but had a nice night last night. We talked about him and Jonathan Villar and the nights they had defensively and offensively.
Just want that to snowball. You just want it to keep going until the end of the season.
Just down and away. 2-0 the count. Nice hitter's count for John Singleton. Last year combined in the minor league, John only hit 230. So it's not like he tore it up batting average in the minor leagues and now is struggling on the big league level. Actually, that 230, yes, 230 last year, 3 teams. So he's a young hitter that's trying to learn his craft. And he does it on the highest level here. Even on the 3-0, a perfectly spotted pitch outside corner at the knees. And the walk. Number 15 on the year issued by Iwakuma as John Singleton gets it with 1 out.
Yeah, it's the baseball's fault. Why? No offense. I mean, well, John, let's be honest. John Singleton's hitting 181. He's got a 3-1 count, nobody on base, and he just got a split finger from Iwakuma.
Well, that says one of 2 things. One of those would be that Iwakuma has a lot of confidence in that pitch, or that
he's a skirt.
He has a lot of fear of John Singleton somehow, huh? Wow. Is that what you mean by that?
He's a skirt.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Matt Dominguez at the plate takes a strike.
I just find that interesting. Yeah. You would choose to throw that pitch right there. We just saw a 3-0 fastball painted on that low outside corner for a pretty good strike. Why not do that again?
You know, it's a bit surprising. Now, Iwakuma's not a hard throwing fastball type pitcher, but the guys that have had that ability this year have blown fastballs right by Singleton. On the hands, it's popped up on the right side. Cano gliding under. Will make the catch.
Cool.
Who are we picking for tonight?
Prime time.
You went Alex Presley, and I went Max Stassi. Now, we are just taking the easy way out, aren't we? Alex Presley coming to the plate. See if Blummer's as good as that hair.
It's fantastic, isn't it? I can't get over it. Hold on there. Oh, I'm just drinking that in.
Solid work. It'll take you seconds and seconds to work that up?
About 34.
That's a good figure. Alex Presley's 0 for his last 7. Takes a strike. By the way, John Singleton, in his minor league career, and we've seen glimpses of it a bit this year, he stole 22 bases, caught 13 times. So he's a guy that can surprise you with the running game once in a while. See if he has any notion of moving here with 2 outs. Iwakuma's pitch grounded right back up the middle. So Jeff Blum exulting now as his pick. Alex Presley gets a base hit.
Attaboy AP.
Just a ground ball, finds the hole up the middle.
Boy, Max Stassi has a chance to drive in a run. Good piece of hitting, staying on that split finger right there and just shooting it back up the middle. A little bit of a shift on Alex Presley, left that hole wide open.
Always curious about how the shifts are evaluated, but that's somebody else's business.
Yeah, it's a lot of thinking going on that would cause me a lot of pain.
Max Stassi, the 8-hitter at the plate. Runners at first and second, 2 outs. First at bat this year for Max. You may remember last year, got called up in August with the ball club. Had a nice first game as he picked up a couple of hits. Gets the baseball for that first one. And then game 2 wouldn't be so kind as he was hit by a pitch. And it knocked him out for over a month at that point. Little thumber into right field. You take them all. Max was more than glad to take those in that first game. Spotting it nicely outside Black. 1-1. Iwakuma has won 5 consecutive decisions. The Mariners have won 6 straight Iwakuma starts. So they are rather comfortable having him go to the hill. This one's lined into the gap, left center field. That'll plate at least 1 run. Singleton scores. And now here comes Presley with the speed. He will score. 2-0 Astros. Presley almost stopped before he got to the plate. It'll be a 2-run single as Max Stassi gets it going here in his first outing.
Great call by you going with the rookie catcher. He hits another bullet. This hanging slider looked like out over the plate. And up to the task with those quick hands as Max Stassi sneaks into that gap. James Jones cuts it off, and Listash taking a chance, sending Presley around that third base bag, and it turned into a breaststroke trying to get into home plate with the throw being high.
Look at this. Stops and then
that looked like some of the landings we've had this year. Grief, put the landing gears down, Alex.
Yeah, you're glad that throw didn't leave Zunino right there at the plate.
Zunino's going to look back at the tape and go, man, I had a chance.
Brings up the 9-hitter, Jonathan VR. So, Alex Presley and Max Stassi, a couple of good picks here tonight. Oxygen needed for Alex Presley. Look, right over there. That's where that place is where you can't get over it.
Grief, who put the batter's box in the way?
They laid out the chalk really thick. Drive down the left field side, back at the wall, and this one's off the wall. Extra bases for VR. Scoring is Stassi. It's 3-0 Houston on the double by VR. And the Astros having some fun early against Iwakuma.
Juggernaut. How about the bottom 3 hitters in this Astros lineup right now? Base hit, double, 2 RBIs, another double and an RBI. Fastball middle. VR showing some good pop going the other way. James Jones gave it a good run. clipped him right in the heel of the glove. That close.
Maybe even right on the wrist. Jones has got great speed, but some of the folks here in Seattle have said that defensively maybe not as good as the speed might make you think.
Pretty good effort nonetheless.
Right here in the booth, we've got one of the best of Major League Baseball scouts, Big John, and he has scouted James Jones.
How about the rookie catcher picking up the rookie pitcher driving in those first 2 runs? It's kind of nice.
So 3 runs right here in the 2nd inning after there were 2 outs and Singleton aboard at first base after a walk. Like Blummer says, that bottom 3 in the order making it happen.
Still got to go back to that walk to John Singleton, throwing that split finger on a 3-1 count to put him on.
You know, you mentioned that power of VR going the other way. We've talked about it. From the right side, he's got legit power. From the left side, kind of an opposite field Crawford box type of a stroke. Ground ball left side off the bat of Robbie Grossman. They'll get the out at first. That'll do it for Houston. But they put 3 on the board in the 2nd inning. On top, 3-zip.
To go back to work with a 3-0 lead over the Mariners. Tropiano. Oh, for that, actually, I want to remind you to tweet your photos to hashtag CSNH fan photo for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by AT&T. Almost jumped the gun there. But now, talking about Tropiano making his first start here, got to catch up with pitching coach Brent Strom about the righty, and he said his biggest strength is the changeup. Guys, you were talking about this earlier, but he said that his change is the best on the staff right now outside of Dallas Keuchel. He can throw it in some hitters counts there and bail him out at times. Guys, what do you think?
Yeah, that's pretty heady stuff if that's the case. Brett Oberholzer has a very good changeup. It's a pitch that's underdeveloped for a lot of guys, but you can see already, Blummer, I think that Tropiano's changeup is right there as one that you're going to get a lot of swings and misses with.
I agree. So far, so good.
3-0 Houston. Kyle Seager leads it off. Is Julio aware that some guys have been hitting home runs around the major leagues tonight?
I hope so. If not, I'd be more than happy to inform her, but there's a good chance she knows what's going on around the league.
Cool.
Twitter's a beautiful thing.
Good stuff. There's a young man named Matt Clark who hit his first major league home run tonight, so big congratulations there.
Yeah, welcome to the club, Matt Clark.
Two balls and no strikes. And now 3-0. So Tropiano gets that 3-0 lead and falls behind immediately on Kyle Seager. Seager 0 for his last 7. Well, looking at Bo Porter as part of an MLB kind of a
that caught me off guard.
Chat going on, huh? Well, apparently things are working out. 3 balls and a strike. Kyle Seager at the plate. Shift on. And now ball 4. So it was the walk that got things started for Houston as Singleton drew a 1-out free pass. And now a leadoff walk to Seager. It brings up Logan Morrison.
That's kind of tough when you go out there and score 3 runs as an offense to pick up your rookie pitcher, and he promptly goes out there and walks the leadoff man the next inning. He's just a good sinker away from getting 2 outs.
There you go. Maybe that changeup.
Yep, changeup is a good pitch to roll over and get a double play ball on. Shift is on for Logan Morrison, who hit a bomb on the only bad pitch that Colin McHugh made last night.
Do you have any knee-jerk reaction in watching Trope through 1 inning plus now this evening?
The consistency of the arm angle and the release point with that kind of long whippy arm. But he's been doing it for years, so hopefully he's got it under control. He dialed it back in after walking Seager to throw a strike to get ahead of Logan Morrison. I like that. He's shown good poise so far early on.
0-2 the count. You know, we talked a little bit about it in the open, but the Astros pitching in particular, the starting staff, great here in the month of September. Some people say it's tough to read stats in the month of September. I disagree in this case, where the Astros are facing teams trying to get into postseason play. I think the stats are very valid that the Astros are finding right now, and for the starting staff and the pitching overall to be performing well. For me, and I guess I'll ask you, is it a telling stat that can mean a lot toward the future?
I think so. I like what these guys are doing. I like the starting 5 right now for the Houston Astros. They're finishing strong. It's nice to see some of these guys who haven't pitched into September still strong and pitching well.
Tropiano with nice quick feet. There's Brett Oberholzer. And he does have a very good changeup. He would be on that list of guys that are good in that direction. It's also one of those guys that has somewhat solidified a shot in the rotation heading toward next year. Changeup misses away. Sometimes that changeup, in this case from a right-hand pitcher, will have a tendency of coming out just a bit early and sailing toward that right-handed box.
Yeah, and with his kind of 3/4 arm action too, it's going to run that way if he gets on the side of it too.
3 infielders on the right side. And again away. Close, but 3-2 the count.
Yeah, it is close, but those are off the plate. And maybe in AAA you get a guy that swings at it trying to be overly aggressive, but here in the big leagues, these guys got a good idea of the strike zone. They're going to be a little bit more picky about what they go after.
Kyle Seager, the runner at first. See if he's in motion. He's stolen 6. He goes. The pitch hit in the air left center. Coming on, Robbie Grossman. He's there to make the play. And now takes a look toward first base. Scurrying back is Seager. Well, Morrison takes it to a 3-2 count before Tropiano gets him. With 1 out, it brings up Brad Miller. So the Astros start the night as a club, a record at 64-81. 13 more wins right now than they had all of last year. And they've got a chance to finish right about 20 wins above what they did last year, give or take. Starting rotation. Would there be, in your mind, any chance that these 5 guys right now outside of Tropiano have it kind of locked down as you head toward next year, or might the Astros be looking at the free agent market?
I'm sure they're going to peek at the free agent market and see what's out there, but I would say that for right now, the 5 guys that we've talked about, excluding Tropiano, who might have an outside shot of maybe battling for a 5 spot in that rotation, these are their guys. And you look internally, and Tropiano's got to be a guy that's close, if not competing for that 5 spot. 2-0 changeup that you talked about him being able to throw. Good pitch, getting the swing and miss.
It's one of the things that'll go in scouting reports. Hey guys, be aware now with this guy, in this case Tropiano, when he falls behind, don't be surprised by the changeup. Scouts right now are furiously riding that fact. Ground ball left side with the shift on, a very tough play, and Villar throws it away. That'll be an error, likely a base hit, and an E6 on the play. That'll leave runners at second and third, 1 out for the catcher Mike Zunino. So you mentioned it. Can you see back-to-back nights and beyond back-to-back nights with VR playing solid defense? Not so far tonight.
Well, I was just going to say, this is what gives you that question mark, is that he comes out and does a couple things like this. We saw the ground ball off Saunders' bat in the first inning, and he does a great job of getting there. He just does not get on top of that ball to get that ball down to where Singleton can make a play on it. And it's unfortunate. You're going to make errors in the big leagues. It just seems that VRs are a little more exaggerated, because when they are made, a guy gets on base, or they go into the stands or a dugout and they end up being a 2-base error, which is tough.
Well, and it's also the number of errors in the number of chances for Jonathan Villar. Again, for me, and I thought when he started the year he was really solid and looked like a guy who had refined things greatly, but then he fell into old patterns from last year. And watching tonight, I guess you'd say, you've got to be a little more careful with the baseball.
Yeah, and you saw Tom Hollis come out and talk. This is just to tell Nick Tropiano, you're fine. You got a 3-run lead. Keep pounding that zone. Get that ball down and get you a ground ball. And sure enough, goes out there and throws a right-on-right changeup for a great pitch to get ahead of Zunino.
That's the 15th error on the season in the major leagues for VR this year. He made 16 last year in 57 games, 55 as a starter. That's a figure that's way out of line. And this year, this is his 70th game, 66th as a starter, and again 15 errors.
Yeah, that's quite a few.
And again, back-to-back years now with an error percentage that's way too high.
And keep in mind, shortstops and middle infielders get more opportunities. So those numbers, there are going to be more errors out there up the middle. But like you said, 60 games, I think.
Yeah, right
15
in that
errors.
neighborhood. Yeah.
That's quite a few.
Well, that means that if you played your 140, 150, you're going to make 30 to 40 errors.
Yeah,
so
that's excessive.
Yeah. 1 and 2, Tropiano from the stretch. So you don't want to get to the end of the season and have your shortstop making 35 errors. That would be punishment for your pitching.
Yeah, and that'll kill your WAR, you would think.
I got you. 3-2 the count. First base open. 9-hitter James Jones waiting on deck. Well, maybe not. I mean, in the case of Josh Donaldson, it hasn't killed his WAR.
It's almost helping it.
Yeah. You had a great article you pulled up the other day talking about defensive WAR and all that kind of stuff, and how it needs to be refined, and an acknowledgement that the numbers are not exacting yet. But as this shot goes foul left side.
And you know what, for me, it's not only what Josh Donaldson's doing this year. Yeah, he's a great hitter and he's a big contributor defensively and offensively. But with his 21 errors at third base, to still be second in the league in WAR confuses me a little bit. And then you go back a year or two ago when they said Mike Trout's WAR was, or his defense was horrible, and it hurt his WAR
last year.
Yeah, how does that happen?
2 years ago, Mike Trout had a defensive WAR that people said, well, that's just he's good, but he's not that good.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden last year it turned the other way. Drive left center field in the gap. Nobody's near it. This will go to the wall. 2-run score. Seager and Miller crossing the plate. 2-run double for Zunino. And with that swing,
The M's are right back in it. 3-2 Houston here in the second.
And you see it all the time, a walk and an error come back to haunt you, but this was a hanging changeup, or maybe a hanging slider, I'm not sure, from Tropiano, and Zunino in a 2-strike count shortens up that stroke a little bit and hits that hanging off-speed pitch into that gap. 2-run score easy.
Well, for both pitchers tonight, and for Iwakuma, very rare to walk a man. The walk to Singleton set up a 3-run inning. And now in the bottom of the second inning, the walk to Seager to start it sets up what is now a 2-run inning. And Trope would like to keep it right there. The 9-hitter Jones at the plate. A lot of times you watch body language on a pitcher and see does an inning where something goes wrong impact him and things change. Any signs of that with Tropiano? Line drive to left field. Robbie Grossman's there. He'll make the catch. Out number 2, it's back to the top with Austin Jackson.
I'm not sure. It's a little early to tell for me. I know he's still going after the zone, and you're just going to have to see a couple more innings, maybe a couple more starts. Apparently we're going to have a chance to see Tropiano make 2 more starts after this, so that'll be something to keep track of too. Is he a guy that's just trying to live on the edges, or is he a guy that's really going to pitch to contact and set things up for that changeup that he has? We'll have to wait and see.
A lot of times you'll look at not only body language, but what's going on facially for a guy after a rough moment, and Tropiano has now faced a rough moment in the big leagues. Take a peek at how that double by Zunino affected Tropiano. There it is.
Yeah, and he realizes that he left that pitch up, but still he's staying in the play, going around, knows where to go to back up the play. I don't know. It doesn't look like he's too phased.
No, he doesn't.
Most of these guys have been, in situations where they've given it up a little bit before they get here, but here at the show, everything's going to be magnified.
Yeah, I think you learn quickly in professional ball that you have to be able to keep things together. Body language, that being one of the things. Well, last year, for example, Lucas Harrell was a guy that got attacked a lot about body language and things that would go on when things didn't happen right behind him. And
your personality is going to come out when you're under duress.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Lucas had a lot of those situations where he was getting hit around a little bit or wasn't getting a call at home plate. And it seemed to have gotten to him. But when you show your emotions and it gets worse, then you point to oh, well, he lost his composure.
Here's a little looper down the right field side, dropping foul.
Nice stop.
1-2 the count on Austin Jackson.
Good play by Matty out of Bainbridge Island. But you asked me last night, you were surprised to hear that I snapped a lot after some of my at-bats. I'd go in there and break a bat every once in a while, vent a little bit. But I slowly and eventually learned that that wasn't a good thing to do. It kind of gave a bad impression of the character who I wanted to be on the baseball field, and being in Houston and watching guys like Biggio, Bagwell, Lance Berkman. Those guys kept their composure pretty good.
There's the off speed for the strikeout. Second time for Austin Jackson tonight. That does it for the M's, but they pick up a pair. It's 3-2 Houston. And now this moment in history is brought to you by MD Anderson, making cancer history. Compare Jose Altuve's 2014 to Ichiro back in 2001. Remember, Ichiro was coming off being the Rookie of the Year, the MVP. And wow, what a great career has ensued. But Jose Altuve, not too bad in the comparison.
Well, in that 0-1 season for Ichiro was the last time an American League player led in hitting for hits, average, and stolen bases. So very comparable. Trying to do the same thing Ichiro did in 2001. And keep in mind, that was Ichiro's technically his rookie year.
Yeah, pretty solid being Rookie of the Year and MVP. And my contention this year would be that Jose Abreu with the White Sox could turn that same trick.
116 wins in that season, too, for the Seattle Mariners.
And then they didn't make it to the World Series.
Yeah, it's a little disappointing.
Jose Altuve lined out sharply his first at bat, hits it on the barrel as he grounds to short. 0 for 2 on the night, and still looking for that first hit here in Seattle, at least in this series.
Yeah, that's a little peculiar. This might be the first time we've actually seen Jose struggle a little bit.
Three-hitter Dexter Fowler comes to the plate.
0 for his last 9, and if I recall, he may have had an 0 for 12 maybe a month ago or so, and then broke out of that with about
put a 14-15 gamer together, which began kind of picking up one hit a night sort of thing, but then he got hot, jumped it back up to 340, but now kind of taking that slide back, if you will, to the 333-ish range.
He's just catching his breath before he goes on a tear again, that's all.
Yeah, let's hope that's the case.
Yeah, we really haven't seen that anger in his eye either, man. He doesn't look too happy about it either.
Dexter Fowler struck out in the first. A couple of strikeouts for Iwakuma. Two balls and a strike. Dexter hitting .267. Do you have any thoughts? And it's, you know, to change things up come next year could be really tough, really challenging. Talking about the outfield, but with Dexter Fowler and of course George Springer and likely Jake Marisnick as the three guys you're looking at to be the starting outfield, how would you line them up?
Well, at first I'd look at the contract status of Dexter Fowler. I'm not sure if his contract is up at the end of the year and he's arbitration eligible. I think that's one of the scenarios I heard. You know, and then that's up to the club's decision to decide whether or not they offer that to him and keep him here in Houston. But if let's say he is for sure in the mix, you know, he's got to be your center fielder that goes out there. He's earned the right to go out there. And I think if you put those complementary pieces on the side of Jake Marisnick and George Springer, pitchers are going to be happy about that.
That's a fair ball inside the bag and down the line. Dexter around first, digging for second. And as the ball kicks away from Jones, an easy two-bagger, a one-out double for Dexter Fowler.
That's what happens when you dial 911 and they answer. Sneaking inside that third baseline. That was a nice piece right there. You know, getting back, you got Jake Marisnick, you got Robbie Grossman, you got Alex Presley, you got George Springer getting healthy. It's obvious George is going to be in right field, but I would just hate not to have Jake Marisnick's glove on that field, because if I'm pitching and I've got those three burners out there in the outfield, there's not going to be too many fly balls that end up dropping on the pastures out there.
16th double for Dexter Fowler. You think it's a given that George is in right field as opposed to maybe center?
If Dexter's here, it could be. I'm not sure how many other outfield positions Dexter has played. You know, might be asking a lot of him to move, having already moved George Springer out there to right field, and he's looked quite nice.
And by the way, you're right on that contract status for Dexter Fowler.
Okay. So it's an arbitration type issue at the end?
That's correct.
Okay.
Arbitration eligible.
Interesting.
Tough pitch to handle. It's 0-2.
So that's something that management's going to have to take into account over the offseason.
Yep.
because that'll be a relatively large contract. It'll be a decent contract, but it'll be much larger than the guys they have on their roster next to him.
Dexter this year at about 7.3, and so with an arbitration eligible year, I don't know, he could go to 10 plus.
I was going to say it's at least going to be 7.5 plus for sure.
Yeah, that becomes a real challenge.
Well, you know, that's the joy of being a GM. Where do I want to spend my money? Where do I want to have these guys?
Fowler fouls it, or make that Carter fouls it back.
Good pitch. Carter to hit.
John Singleton trying to put it together. Such a big challenge to see if you can get guys like Singleton and Springer and Marisnick and on to put their talents together at their peak at the same time. Carter down on strikes, and Splitter gets the job done. Third strikeout for Iwakuma.
Astros Fan Appreciation Day is Sunday, September 21st, when the Astros face the Mariners in the season's final home game. 10,000 fans will receive a 2014 team poster courtesy of the Houston Chronicle. Also, every half inning, we will be giving away prizes to lucky fans throughout the ballpark.
There's our Astros fans. They are steady regulars here in Seattle. John Singleton drew a walk and scored in the second. Max Stassi had a pair of RBIs with a base hit. Jonathan Villar had a double driving in the third Houston run.
If you don't mind me getting back to that outfield talks, Rob Anderson just tweeted me, and this is actually a really good lineup. Fowler moves to left, Marisnick moves to center, and you keep George Springer in right. How do you feel about that?
Well, that's one of two ways that I would be inclined to go. The other being Springer in center and Marisnick in right. And it probably doesn't matter a whole lot. But for me, those last two names mentioned are the best go-getters in the outfield.
I agree. I would be perfectly comfortable with that. And you keep a guy like Fowler around who does a great job of getting on base. He's gotten some big hits throughout the course of the season for the Astros.
Two and one the count on Big John.
But I just can't even imagine the amount of ground those three guys would cover. Would be pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, it could be really intriguing, no doubt. Two-one for Iwakuma. Tries to paint away and misses outside.
Good job of Singleton laying off that. He was in this situation his first at bat in a 3-1 count. Got a split finger. Now with the base open, you got a place to put John. He didn't want him with nobody on. Does he want him now with a guy on? Matt Dominguez, right-handed hitter, hitting behind him.
Chopper foul back to the screen. That'll fill it. First base open. Matt Dominguez on deck. The Astros, like the Seattle Mariners, trying to take 2 out of 3 in this series. A series that means so much to the Mariners as well as other clubs in the American League. That wild card chase, very intriguing. Oakland, Kansas City, and Detroit all in right now or tied for being in. Seattle a half game out. Singleton down on strikes. Couple in the inning. And that'll do it for Houston. They get a double from Fowler and strand him. It's 3-2 Houston.
The Mayweather, what a Maidana, I don't know, rematch. Maidana rematch is live on pay-per-view September 13th. I got to pay attention to boxing. And to celebrate, CSN is giving away a boxing glove autographed by both fighters. Tweet at CSN Houston, hashtag Fight Talks Sweeps for your chance to win. Guess what this one's going? You hear that? What did they just hand me in here?
Did you enter yet?
No, I'm not going to enter. I don't know what the hashtag. There's like 17 words after that thing. Sorry, I apologize for that.
Here's a hashtag for you. Astros lead 3-2. Michael Saunders, the two-hitter, leads off here in the third inning. He'll be followed by Robinson Cano and Kendry Morales. Nick Tropiano works his third inning in the big leagues. What's got on the menu tonight on that flight that should get us into Anaheim around 4 a.m. I'm understanding.
It's going to be that Salisbury steak scrambled egg combo. Whatever they have left over from all previous flights, because they're just saving it for that late nighter we got.
Ground ball to the right side on a third hop in between. Altuve makes the play. Out number one here in the third inning. Robinson Cano will stand in. Robinson flying out to center field on a 3-0 back in the first inning. Cano hitting .320 on the year. The Astros counting tonight 17 games to complete. I believe Seattle has one more, but you could see Robinson Cano getting right back into the batting race.
What did
Victor Martinez?
Yeah, that guy.
That guy. Let's see what we've got.
Another over.
Another over tonight. Well,
how about that?
Good news. He dips to .333. Altuve for the moment, I believe, at .334. And that means still a 1-point lead for Altuve. Adrian Beltre at .327. Cano, we mentioned, .320. Jose Abreu at .317. That ball right side. Diving stop by Singleton from his knees will throw and offline. It'll be an infield single for Robinson Cano. And John Singleton making a heck of an effort. Just couldn't hang on to the baseball.
Yeah, it was a really good effort.
If he comes up with this ball cleanly, and there have been times when it just doesn't look like the ball wants to stick right away, but if he does, boy, he makes a gem against Cano.
Good job by Tropiano to knock that throw down, too. Put it offline, hit the brakes, try and sell it. You also noticed in one of those replays, too, Max Stassi did a good job of chasing behind that play and backing up.
Ground ball, this time handled by Singleton onto VR, and then taking his time back to Tropiano. 3-6-1 on the double play, and that's a beautiful thing with Kendry Morales at the plate. That'll do it for Seattle in the third inning. It's 3-2 Houston.
Astros with a 3-2 lead over the M's. Come celebrate Fiesta's Patria Street Fest presented by United Airlines on Saturday, September 20th outside Minute Maid Park for live music, food, and fun for all ages. The Street Fest is open to all fans and will be on Crawford Street beginning at 3 p.m. before the Astros and Mariners play at 6:10. Guys.
Thank you, Julia. Yeah, those are always fun. We go to the fourth inning. The Astros up by a run, 3-2. Each club with 4 hits on the night, 1 error committed, that by Houston. Jonathan Villar picked it up. Matt Dominguez, Alex Presley, and Max Stassi here in this fourth inning. News alert, Hisashi Iwakuma has walked a man tonight. That was Singleton. Came with 1 out in the second inning. And the Astros put 3 on the board in that frame. Ball and a strike on Matty D. You hope the Astros are having fun with these ball games right now, playing the Angels, playing Seattle, Cleveland coming up. Games that really mean something ultimately, and they played well.
They played really well. And you know what, these younger teams kind of play with that chip on their shoulder, which is good to see.
Ground ball's foul, handled by Pat Listach.
Looks like he let Kyle Seager know that he could still pick it. Doesn't need a glove.
Letting Seager know right now. I'll let you know when I need your help. 1-2 the count on Dominguez. Up and in, Cheese gets the strikeout. That's 5 now for Iwakuma.
Time now for the AT&T Rewind. Go back to earlier in the game with Alex Presley out there. Stassi at the plate, gets a hanging off speed pitch, rips it into that left center field gap. James Jones cuts it off, and then it is just get the landing gears down. Coming in hot there is Alex Presley.
Even unbuckled the belt for him.
That's an aggressive attack at home plate.
We've all seen through the years the examples where a guy never makes it to the plate or to a base, and pretty close right there for Presley.
It's not good when you got to go into a swim stroke to make it home.
I had a teammate, I'll keep the name off of it, but went into the super crab on one of those plays at third base where he dove in, and all of a sudden it was like there were hooks in the ground, stopped his upper body, and the lower, the scorpion. Yeah, the scorpion. There you go. Yeah. Up and over the top. Feet actually touched the ground.
Those are not pretty.
Oh, it was fun though. It was a good time in the dugout.
Wasn't it Todd Stottlemyre in the '93 World Series for the Blue Jays? It went into third base out at Philadelphia.
Around the bag?
Yeah, it went into third base and just took like an entire portion of his chin right off.
Well, I don't remember that part of it.
Oh, it was nasty. Really? But did the same thing. Head first slide, and the arms are back
arms
by
locked,
his waist.
Locked, get caught, and get stuck underneath or behind.
Face plant.
High strike called. 1-2 the count. Presley at the plate. Presley had a base hit and scored a run in the second. Blummer's pick. He's not the pick to click tonight. He is the
prime time.
Prime time. There you go.
Prime time.
So Blummer nailed it with that one, but Max Stassi, for me, came up with a big one as well. One hopper back to the mound. 2 outs here in the fourth. Let's check in with Julia right here.
Thank you. We're about to see Max Stassi, who was really eager to get in the lineup today. It's been a while since he's seen live pitching, and was looking forward to the opportunity to face Iwakuma too. He's got to be happy with that first at bat after a tough season for him. He was just up and down all year. Hit 247 down there. He said he just couldn't quite get in a groove at times. But the biggest thing for him, Tom Lawless saying, is plate discipline from here on out, guys.
Thanks, Julia. And that's intriguing. Watching Stassi hang out that line drive for the base hit, driving in a pair in the second inning. I don't know if that's considered plate discipline or being aggressive or what the case might be, but good looking at bat put in. He's going to need a new piece of lumber here.
Man, how did that not hit the umpire?
Kitchen got assaulted with that heater.
Butcher knives in there on the inside corner.
Last year, Max played in 3 games for the Astros. Went 2 for 7. Strike at the knees, 0-2 the count. Couple of singles, so he now has 3 major league singles. And the 2 RBIs here this evening. Not his first. Those are RBIs numbers 2 and 3 for Max. Chops one to third. Handled by Seager. He'll throw out the catcher. And a 1-2-3 fourth inning. So settling in Iwakuma, but trailing by a run.
Houston over Seattle. We have a Twitter question for you. We want you to tweet us. That way we can read some of the best tweets later in the broadcast. And today it's, what do you think will be the most interesting position battle on the Astros for next year? This could be interesting come spring training, guys.
Yeah, that is interesting. I'm kind of curious. Julia, what do you think?
Shortstop would be a fun one to watch. I know we watched that one unfold this year, but we watched Carlos Correa this year kind of make things interesting, just put a little pressure on people. So I think that'd be another one to watch this time around.
Yeah, I think we agree with you here. I think shortstop's going to be intriguing. Has Marwin Gonzalez-Blummer earned the right to be the everyday shortstop?
I think he's got to get the first look.
I do too. Where does Gregorio Petit fit in? How about Jonathan Villar? And how much in the spring will we see Carlos Correa?
I think we're going to see Carlos Correa quite a bit. He's going to get healthy enough to go out there and play in that Arizona Fall League, hopefully have a good time, build up his status going into that spring training, and then he's going to get to definitely see some innings out there at shortstop, having been and will be one of the top prospects in the Astros organization.
Julia, aware that that young kid, Matt Clark, that hit the home run tonight is now the post-game interview going worldwide. Ground ball right side, right to Singleton. Seager is retired, 3 unassisted, out number 1 here in the 4th. Bring up Logan Morrison. He flied out to left field in the 2nd inning. You know, it is that time of the year, Jeff, and you look at what clubs that have a chance to get to the postseason are doing. Of course, we've got Seattle right in front of us here, trailing 3-2 in the 4th inning. The Giants are in action as they host Arizona. They're scoreless in the 3rd inning. The Angels have just had it their way, and they're running away and hiding. They lead over Texas in Arlington 7-1 in the 8th inning. That's a foregone conclusion. The Angels are going to win the American League West. The Oakland A's are in Chicago, and the White Sox have just come back with a pair in the 8th inning. They're in the 9th now. White Sox lead 2-1 over Oakland. Ball and a strike.
Yeah, it's got to be tough to be an A's fan right now.
Thanks to the power bat of Matt Clark. The Brewers are 4-1 winners tonight, and they're surviving. They're kind of hanging in terms of the wild card in the National League.
They came in tonight, game and a half back of Pittsburgh for that second wild card in the National League, so that helps their cause.
Tied with Atlanta at the start of play. Three and one the count. Waiting on deck is Brad Miller.
With that score in Chicago with the Oakland A's and White Sox, that makes this game rather large for Seattle.
Ground ball left side. Only man over there is Matt Dominguez. He makes the play. 2 outs on ground balls. It'll bring up Brad Miller with the bases empty. So the Brewers win 4-1 over Miami, and that really puts a hurt on Miami and their chances. They start today 3.5 back in the wild card hunt. Pittsburgh is hanging in. They have defeated the Phillies in Philadelphia 6-3.
They beat ex-Astro Jerome Williams. Had a base hit and a couple of RBIs in that game for the Phillies.
Has found a third team for the season.
5-6 for them. Atlanta won, beating the Nationals. Strasburg taking the loss.
So that says that both Milwaukee and Atlanta, a game and a half back at the start of play today in the wild card hunt, both win. So they're going to hang together. And again, the Pittsburgh Pirates winners, so that margin will stay at a game and a half.
Pittsburgh gains a game on St. Louis, who lost to Cincinnati.
Yankees 8-5 winners over visiting Tampa Bay. The Yankees are in a pretty tough spot right now. They're 5.5 back. Cubs fall big in Toronto, 11-1 for the Blue Jays. I think you might have mentioned KC, a 3-0 winner at Detroit. Down on strikes is Brad Miller. Third strikeout in the big leagues now for Nick Tropiano. That'll do it a 1-2-3 4th inning. Still 3-2 Houston.
Will create an experiencer. Group is sure to remember. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit group sales at astros.com. A little different there. Very cool stuff coming in from the Astros today. The cleats that were donated by Mr. Jose Altuve to the National Baseball Hall of Fame are now on display. Pretty cool stuff. It's part of the Today's Game exhibit, and those are the cleats that he was wearing when he registered his 4th consecutive multi-steal game back on June 29th, and then he became the first player in 97 years with 4 straight multi-steal games, and just the 3rd player in baseball's modern era. Very cool stuff, guys.
That is very cool stuff. And those shoes look, other than the bottom side, like they're brand new. So I have a feeling he didn't wear those a lot of games, but that was a pretty nice little streak he strung together.
Tell you what, that's real cool to have your stuff in the Hall of Fame. And I'm sure he had no problem giving them to him when they asked for them.
Jonathan Villar at the plate. Had a double off the left field wall. In fact, specifically off the wrist of James Jones right up against the wall. That drove in a run for Villar. RBI number 24 on his season. But it has not been a good night defensively for Jonathan. Had a ground ball get by him, sharply hit back up the middle. He was nearly in position to start with earlier in the ball game. Also committed an error as he threw one away on a tough play to his right. Two-1 from Iwakuma. Strike at the bottom of the knees. Yeah, I think we are starting to see that called more and more consistently, at least with this crew.
That was borderline right there for me.
Yeah. Right about as far as you could go. That strikes Villar. About number 1 in the 5th inning. Already 6 strikeouts for Iwakuma. Top of the order now, Robbie Grossman will be followed by Jose Altuve. It's been the bottom of the order for the Astros, providing the offense this evening, and it all came in the 2nd inning. Seattle put their 2 runs on the board in the 2nd as well. Robbie Grossman 0 for 2 on his night. A strikeout, looking, hits one on the ground. That'll find the hole up the middle. Robbie's 1 for 3, offering on that first pitch, and he's had great success in limited swings on the first pitches this year.
Yeah, aggressive. When we talked about Iwakuma doesn't walk anybody. He walked John Singleton earlier in this game for his 15th walk on the season, but you can look at the numbers from Robbie Grossman. You would think he'd be a little more aggressive early in the count because you're getting those fastballs. He's not a big power guy. He'll sneak up and get you every once in a while, but those numbers, go get that first strike that you like and put a whack on it, because you can see his numbers after 2 strikes drop drastically, even below the major league average.
Yeah, and the major league average, what major league hitters do on the first pitch, it's astounding. A lot of fans don't like their players to swing at the first pitch, but the success rate is just so far above the norm. Grossman on the move, and Altuve fouls one on a line down the right field side. This is a great way, by the way, sometimes to get a guy out of a funk.
I agree. You got a strike thrower in Iwakuma up there. You know he's going to be around the zone. Decent speed at first, but you just get the movement. You start creating some holes out there in the field for a guy who might be struggling just a little bit. And Altuve goes the other way so well that it's so much easier for him to shoot that ball through a vacated hole by Cano, who goes to cover.
Occasionally you'll see a hit and run on back-to-back. Grossman does not go. The pitch line down the left field side. The funk is over. This one will drop and go to the wall. Extra bases for Altuve as he snaps an 0 for 9, and he'll drive in a run in the process. RBI double, 4-2, Astros on top.
And you knew it was only a matter of time. And say hello to Miguel Tejada. 199 hits on the season for Jose Altuve, driving in a big run to go up 4-2 for the Houston Astros. Got one of those hanging splits, barreled it up, yank it down that line, and he is back on the hit parade again.
So the next hit now for Altuve will be number 200 on the year, and there's the little matchup with Miguel Tejada. That is so impressive. Miggy still chasing Craig Biggio.
Yeah, the next hit will give him 200, and there'll only be 2 Astros in the history of the franchise that have gotten 200 hits or more.
base, being the only other 210 hits for Craig. So 11 more to get there now for Altuve.
In 16 games after this?
17 counting tonight, so yes. That's a lot of time for Altuve.
We saw in that homestand he had 2 4-hit games, so you can get them in bunches.
By the way, 41st double for Jose.
Nice.
51 RBIs. Where would he be in your lineup starting 2015?
I like him in that 2-hole.
Yep.
I like him a lot in that 2-hole.
Dexter Fowler at the plate. A 1-2 count on Dex.
And I'm starting to buy into that theory of putting your best hitter in that 2-hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the amount of the amount of at bats they're going to get. I mean, you're going to get 4 pretty much every time out there, possibly 5. But the opportunities that you're going to have with guys on base in that 2-hole, since watching Jose hit in that 2-hole is, it's kind of piqued my interest. I'm enjoying seeing some of the best hitters hitting that 2-hole.
You know, I'm so entrenched in the days when the best hitter, a kind of well-rounded hitter, guy that could hit with power and maybe run a bit, would be in the 3 spot. But yeah, I'm open to that one as well.
Mike Trout.
Yep.
He's got 100+ RBIs going out of that 2-hole this year. That has a lot to do with it. Between him and Altuve, watching what those guys have done, I kind of like it. Well, or I'm beginning to understand it a little bit more.
There are some reasons to go along with that Trout has over 100 RBIs. He's hitting right around 290, but he's also hitting a ton of home runs. He's got 32 on his year.
Yeah, he does.
So, you can hit 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and hit 32, 35 home runs. And on a good ball club, and the Angels are a good offensive club, you're going to drive in some runs.
There's a lot of base runners on that ball club.
4-2 Houston here in the 5th inning. Erasmo Ramirez now getting loose in the M's pen. Right-hander. By the way, that home run race in the American League. Nelson Cruz at 39. He leads. Followed by Chris Carter, 36. Jose Abreu with 33. That's the rookie with the White Sox. David Ortiz, Jose Bautista, and Mike Trout all at 32.
It's a pretty good bunch of guys at 30 home runs. 30+.
But who's been the best player for the Detroit Tigers this year? Everybody is going to knee-jerk and say Miguel Cabrera. But I think Victor Martinez is the guy. 30 home runs, 96 ribbies, 333 the batting average. Now a left-hander. Litke getting up for Seattle.
V-Mart. It's pretty good. Brad Ausmus talked very highly of him. Having to get the chance to watch him play on a daily basis. Watching him, he grinds out every single at bat every day.
Just one out here in the 5th inning. And now the walk to Fowler. That'll put runners at first and second for Chris Carter. Jose Altuve just continues to climb it.
Long list of Astros single season hits record. It's kind of nice. Tying up Miguel Tejada. One more puts him into that 200 plateau that only one other Astro has done thus far. Craig Biggio, 210. It's a good chance after this year Jose Altuve makes another assault at some guys on that list.
That's going to do it for Iwakuma tonight.
Wow.
A guy that again has left the Mariners winning his last 6 starts. He is done on the night. And now Erasmo Ramirez will come in from that bullpen with the Astros on top 4-2. Houston Astros baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is presented by Mayweather versus Maidana 2. Live on pay-per-view September 13th. Order with your remote or online at xfinity.com/boxing. And by Brake Check. Every fourth oil change is free, even on synthetic. Jeff Blum only does fourth oil changes.
Oh, okay. Who you got in the Maidana Merriweather fight there, Ash?
Merriweather, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Mayweather in that Merriweather battle, but that's just me.
I didn't even know they still boxed.
Chris Carter going to try to slam one here. He's got an 8-game hitting streak in tow. He's 0 for 2 on the night. Has flied out and struck out. Trying to add to this 4-2 Houston lead, and very surprising that Iwakuma is no longer a part of things. So
apparently we don't know which way home plate is.
And that's often the case.
Grief. Speaking of knockouts, I'm surprised the Astros were able to knock Iwakuma out of there that quickly.
That's what I was just implying with him gone already. I wonder if something physically was ailing him.
Not sure.
Or is it just that time of the year where guys are not going to get overused? Erasmo Ramirez is 1-6 in 14 appearances. Carter fouls one back. They have switched it up. It is not Ramirez on the hill. It is Leon. Dominic Leon. Carter's been on that 36 home run mark for a little while. And Carter down on strikes. So on 3 pitches, Leon gets Carter, second out in the inning.
Pressing a little bit, knowing the Astros could use another big hit. Chase that one, but one thing we've noticed here in the last couple months is that some of these dips, when he gets into that strikeout mode again, he comes back a little bit quicker than he did earlier in the season. So hopefully he can make that quick adjustment and get back onto that home run train.
2 outs now. Runners still at first and second. John Singleton at the plate. And John takes a strike. Nothing but strikes from Leon.
I always found myself, when I had runners in scoring position, I was going to be aggressive on that fastball early in the count, because I just assumed pitchers were going to try and get ahead early and then go to their off-speed pitches to try and punch me out and not allow me to drive in a run. I've seen some fastballs taken in pretty good places to hit.
Leon's been a big part of this #1 bullpen in the American League. 51st appearance, 2.29 ERA. He's 7-2, and he's just 22 years of age.
Future's so bright, he's got to wear shades.
Could be the case. Make that 47 hits in 59 innings. Four runs on 6 hits for Houston. Matt Dominguez waiting on deck. 2 runs on 4 hits for the M's. Altuve goes, swing and a miss by Singleton, and Altuve has stolen it. So another stolen base for Jose Altuve, as he just continues to pick up so many numbers. Altuve, 52nd bag of the year, and caught just an amazing 7 times. That's it.
Impressive stuff. Surprised to see Fowler not taking off. Usually the trail runner, and knowing Altuve is going to run at any moment, kind of keep your kind of fish eye what's going on over there at second base, and maybe trail that play and get 2 runners into scoring position.
Good swing by John. The Astros continue to be an effective base stealing club, 2nd best in the league, 102 stolen bases, and they've been caught 30 times. So that's very nice percentage for the club. and they're third in home runs. So you've got that powerful, good running team right now that is coming together, and that's with a lot of missing of George Springer. There goes Fowler, and down on strike Singleton. A couple of strikeouts for Leon as he comes on. The Astros get a run, though. Big RBI hit for Jose Altuve. It's 4-2 Houston.
Welcome back. Bottom five now. It's 4-2. The Astros on top. Nick Tropiano getting back to work here in his major league debut. And I'm with his parents. I'm with Paul and Debbie Tropiano from Long Island. You guys come a long way to see your son make his major league debut. And he was called up more than a week ago. So you guys have had to wait a while. What's this time been like as you waited for him to make his debut?
It's been real emotional since Nick got called up. And we're real proud of him. We're thankful to the Houston organization for recognizing his talent, and we're thankful for everybody who helped mold Nick into the player that he is today, and God bless everyone that helped Nick. Thank you.
Mom over there, you've got a good group here, a big group. Who's all with you today?
All his best friends, his close family, everybody's here to cheer him on. And his sister Tony. And he's my only boy, so he's the pride of the family, and his sisters feel the same way. We're so proud of him.
What was it like for the first strikeout as they go nuts here? But we got you guys on tape for that first strikeout. What were the feelings? What were the emotions?
It was emotional. It's surreal to just see him out there and as a professional, major leaguer, and we're just real proud of him, very much so. Thank you.
You guys enjoy the rest of the game. Enjoy watching Nick, and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Ash, up to you.
Thanks, Julia. What a nice family. Nice job there by Julia Morales. And boy, it is so special for these families to watch their young sons and family members make it to the major leagues. And Nick Tropiano having a nice night so far.
Pitching real well.
Darren Downs getting loose for Houston. So I guess we could be seeing the end of the night soon for Nick Tropiano. Faces the 9-hitter James Jones. That was Mike Zunino flying out to left field to start the inning. The Astros with 3 in the second. Seattle put 2 on the board in that second inning, but 1 more in the 5th inning for Houston, and they lead it 4-2. I've not seen a long ball on the night. Jose Altuve has picked up a hit. He's 1 for 3. And Darren Downs getting it loose in the Astros pen. Both of the bullpens out on the left field side. The Mariners a little more toward center. There's that changeup, and the left-hand hitters just look like they're waving. They've got almost no chance to stay back on that pitch.
Yeah, it's tough. You're facing those rookie pitchers, and you're going to find some limited video. You're going to hear some scouting reports, but you really don't know until you step in there and face the guy a couple times. But it looks like Nick's got great action on that changeup. Not afraid to throw it in any count.
Now that strikes. So James Jones is the 4th strikeout victim tonight for Nick Tropiano, and Mom is just thrilled. 2 outs here in the 5th.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff. Be some big hugs after the game, some good conversation.
Dad sounds like he couldn't be more delighted than what he's seeing now with his son. Leadoff man Austin Jackson stands in, and he struck out twice. Tropiano has gotten a double play behind him, started by John Singleton. A 1-1 count on Jackson. Wind is sporadically howling a little bit here this evening.
Yeah, it's getting in here a little bit.
There's a half swing going through on, is that the slider, curveball? I guess it's a curveball that he throws.
It's a little slurvy, yeah, a little combination of both.
I read his words, and he said curveball to go along with the change in the splitter.
And I read that scouting report earlier and said it was a little more of a slurve, but whatever it is, Austin Jackson's having a tough time trying to figure out Tropiano.
The 1-2.
Get on every pitch. I love it.
Tropiano's put himself in a place now where he could pick up a W in that major league debut. Down on strikes again, 3rd time tonight. Austin Jackson, number 5 for Tropiano, a 1-2-3 5th. 4-2 Astros lead, and the Tropiano family could not be more pleased.
Astros leading 4-2. We're going to take a look at the upcoming schedule, brought to you by Progressive. We are done here in Seattle. We are going to enjoy that day off after a late night flight getting into Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim territory, and then we're going to take on those Angels for a 3-game set over the weekend to finish this long road trip before heading back home for that final homestand with 4 against the Tribe and then 3 more against the Seattle Mariners.
Did I hear you declare that we're done in Seattle?
We are done.
Have you looked at the scoreboard?
In Seattle.
Have you looked at the
I'm not going back to my hotel room. I apologize. I forgot that I have to be incredibly specific about what I'm saying. And I should know this from experience because I have 4 daughters from 10 and under.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yes.
So what does that mean?
I'm implying that, yes, I understand there's still some game left in Seattle, but we are done with Seattle.
Gotcha. I gotcha, I think.
There's plenty of game left. I got some explaining to do.
Who's that guy that Mayweather's fighting?
Madonna.
And you don't want to mess with her on a bad night.
Who won the first fight between Mayweather and Madonna?
Oh, please.
You don't know?
I know.
Who?
Nobody beats Floyd.
What's his nickname?
He is the Silver Slapper.
Jeez. Oh. Come up with that.
Ground ball back up the middle. Right there is Robinson Cano. Matt Dominguez erased. Out number 1 here in the 6th inning.
Floyd Money Mayweather.
He is the wealthiest athlete going right now
Easy
in
for you to
professional
say.
sports. Yeah. Brings up Alex Presley. Presley has a single and 2 at bats, scored after that knock in the 2nd inning. He was aboard when Max Stassi drilled one to the gap in left center. Alex Presley has kind of been that guy that, when given the opportunities this year, hasn't hit for a high average. He's hitting .247, but you always get left with the impression that he does a nice job. Ball and a strike on Alex. Max Stassi waits on deck.
He's a good little ball player.
I'm sure you saw where the Boston Red Sox have decided that Dustin Pedroia is done for the year. He's going to have season-ending surgery.
Jeez.
That's coming up tomorrow.
It's been a rough year.
Had soreness in the left hand, left wrist for a long time. Fly ball to center field. Back and under is Austin Jackson. 2 down here in the 6th. A lot of guys have gone down here. Teams that are basically out of the hunt, but I don't know that I recall a season where as many players have just had their seasons end.
It's been a rough year up in Colorado. Some of the injuries they've had to Cargo and Tulowitzki.
Yeah. And they've been out for quite some time. Paul
David
Konerko.
Wright just went down with the Mets.
Yes, I saw that.
With sore shoulder of some kind.
Paul Konerko, one of your old teammates, is trying to come back and play a little bit before the end of the season, which is set to be his last season in the major leagues.
Yeah, it's disappointing. That I hope he does get back to be able to, end on it under his terms instead of being injured and going away that way.
Stassi with a good swing, fouls it back. Stassi 1 for 2. Pair of RBIs with that knock in the 2nd. In the 6th inning, as Jeff Blum so eloquently said, final meeting of the year between these two clubs here in Seattle. 3 more coming up in Houston. The Indians coming in for 4 games, and that's going to do it for 2014 in Houston. 1 more homestand. Lloyd McClendon, what a great year he has had with these Mariners. Nobody has more than 1 hit in the ball game tonight. For the Astros, Grossman, Altuve, Fowler, Presley, Stassi, and VR all with hits. That leaves Carter, Singleton, and Matt Dominguez coming up empty. Fly ball slicing down the right side. That'll be back in the seats. Can a guy like Max Stassi have the disappointing season offensively that he had and still get a legit look next spring?
You're pretty locked in if you're a Houston Astro catcher as far as Castro and Corcoran are concerned for me, and it would take something pretty extreme to carry 3 catchers throughout the course of a season, especially on an American League team. So I mean, Stassi's probably maintained his status as a quality catcher, but I'm not sure if he's going to qualify and really have a chance to go out and compete for a Houston Astro job if the Astros keep Castro and Corcoran.
Yeah, and I guess that last part is the part that you never know about. Does a deal come along where somebody has to become expendable because the deal's just too good otherwise? 3-2 the count now on Stassi. Strikes. So 1, 2, 3, 6th inning. That's 9 strikeouts already through 6 innings by Seattle pitching. Go to the bottom of the 6th inning. 4-2 Houston. Nick Tropiano continues to loosen it up. Follow all the pennant races with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Get live look-ins, replay reviews, stats, highlights, the MLB.TV game of the day, and more. Get this award-winning app for your smartphone or tablet for the rest of the season for just $9.99. Visit the App Store or MLB.com today.
Oh, I thought that was Quiggs. Saw somebody down there with the binoculars. I just assumed it was Quigley.
You getting ready to work with Quiggs for a few days?
I'm looking forward to it. Getting a good look at somebody.
Nick Tropiano goes back out to the mound for the 6th inning.
I'll be checking him out. He's doing well.
Yes, he is, facing the 2, 3, 4 hitters. Saunders, Cano, and Morales. So that's a big inning coming up now for Tropiano.
Why not? One could assume it might be his last inning if he gets through this, and what a way to finish it off.
You know, I could argue that with this changeup that has dominated left-handed hitting minor leaguers this year, that Seattle, a left-handed dominated lineup team, might be the ideal club for him to face tonight.
True. Good matchup for Nick.
Brings the 1-1. Drilled but fouled on the right side. And on this cold to chilly or chilly to cold night, I don't think I'd want to see that thing coming at me. Saunders 1 for 2 on the night. Right-hander Danny Farquhar now getting loose in the pen for Seattle. 2-2 the count. Just 4 Seattle hits against Tropiano. Now the count runs filled. Hisashi Iwakuma lasted just 4 1/3 tonight. Very rare. And all 4 earned runs charged against Iwakuma. Outside, a leadoff walk to Saunders rather. That'll bring up Robinson Cano.
And Trope's done a good job tonight of representing himself, the Astros, and his family with the stuff he's done here in his debut. He's absolutely owned Austin Jackson. He has 3 of his 5 punch-outs against Austin Jackson. Got a big double play ball right here, showing his athleticism, going over to cover on this double play ball. But we've seen 3 quality and effective pitches. I'm sure 4. He's probably mixing a couple of split fingers to go with that changeup. And Tom Wallace is going to come out right now and get Nick Tropiano, who's pitched quite well this evening.
So Lawless does come out to the mound, and that's going to do it for Tropiano. He winds up working 5+ innings. Saunders at first base belongs to Tropiano and his family, and the friends there very appreciative of this opportunity tonight and what Nick was able to do. So now it turns to the bullpen as the Astros lead at 4-2 here in the 6th.
We welcome you back. Still bottom 6, 4-2 Astros. Great guest, hot topics, and no holds barred debate. Kevin Eschenfelder serves it up fresh every single weeknight on Sports Talk Live at 5 p.m. only on Comcast Sportsnet. We're about to see a new pitcher for the Astros, Darren Downs, and we've seen a few here in the Seattle series. The pitching coach, Brent Strom, along with Tom Lawless, the manager, really trying to manage that bullpen, get some of these arms in. It has been tough, but with the starters doing so well here recently, the Lawless and both Strom saying that those guys deserve to have our best guys out there. So they've gone to what Stromy called his A team, not to take away anything from the other guys. It's just we haven't seen them as much, like Duduno, Buchanan. Those guys just haven't had near as much work. It's a September call-up problem, guys.
It is, Julia, and it could still be a problem the remaining 17 games for guys to get a chance to play. But it's about winning right now for the club. Darren Downs comes on, the left-hander to face Robinson Cano. For Downs, he last pitched a couple of days ago. Game 1 here in this series, and worked just a third of an inning. Was tagged for an earned run in that ball game. Robinson Cano, one of those left-handed bats that really doesn't care a whole lot about whether it's righty or lefty on the hill. As an 0-2 count, though, Henry Morales waits on deck. Smallest crowd on hand here in Seattle this evening. But those that have been showing up here in this 3-game series have been wholeheartedly behind their Mariners. Daniel DeDuno now, the right-hander, getting loose in the Astros pen. Samuel, rather, not Daniel. Cano against left-hand pitching this year, hitting .303. He has been better against the righties, .330. Pitches up, but fouled back.
Cano's swing is so smooth. I'm sorry for not jumping in on some of these things. I enjoy watching him play the game. He's got such a good swing. He stays on the pitch so well from the left-handers, and that's why those numbers are so good, so consistent.
Half swing, he went through. Home plate umpire takes it himself, and that's going to do it. Downs gets Cano. Big first out here in the inning.
Good job by Downs. Nice little sweeper.
It's Pat Holberg behind the plate. No doubt about it. 6 strikeouts for Houston pitching. With 1 out, it brings up the switch hitting Kendry Morales. Brent Strom out to the mound. It's a conversation that seems to be taking place as much with Max Stassi as with Darren Downs.
What's been your impression of watching Max Stassi catch?
He seems to do a nice job, and he's regarded highly as a defensive catcher. The thing is, the Astros have a couple of other guys in the minor leagues that have also really gone up the ladder quickly as defensive catchers. And so you don't just hear about Stassi anymore. He's just kind of one of the list. Ground ball to third, should be 2. Dominguez, Altuve, and Singleton, and they get the double play. Second turn by the Astros tonight, and a big one picked up by Downs.
Astros and a big double play to end that 6th inning. Darren Downs coming in relief of Nick Tropiano, and a great play. Watch Altuve, little man hanging in there against a tough double play turn. Big Michael Saunders coming in there trying to get a piece of him. He runs well, and you can see the size difference right there. So a lot to ask of Altuve to hang in there and turn that double play, but these guys are playing pretty good baseball right now, and a big double play in the top of the 6th to get rid of that leadoff man who walked.
And now as we go to the 7th inning, right-hander Danny Farquhar comes in out of that Seattle pen.
More good numbers out of that bullpen for the Seattle Mariners. Farquhar making that 59th appearance, 3-1 record, but that ERA 2.42, doing a great job. 63 and a third innings pitched, 70 strikeouts.
Farquhar, 27 years of age. He'll face Jonathan Villar, the 9-hitter, followed by Robbie Grossman and Jose Altuve. 1 for 2 on the night with a double for Villar, driving in a run. That was number 3 on the night. Shows bunt, takes a strike. Also been charged with an error defensively. Little cutter grounded towards second base. Easy for Cano. And out number 1. So if you're trying to get that peek at Jonathan Villar, seen him the last couple of nights, is progress being made?
Last night there was. But again, baseball's not really one of those sports where you can go on a day-to-day basis. You want to see stretches of goodness from guys and a little more consistency.
Robbie Grossman in the top spot, 1 for 3 on the night, has scored a run. Caught looking back in the first inning, since then has grounded out and singled. Just 10 hits on the ball game, 6 picked up by the Astros. One and 2 the count on Robbie. And batting average at .218. And I'm sure it hasn't been the year that Robbie wanted. Looked like coming out of spring training he was going to be the everyday left fielder, and then ran into his problems for a second straight year. Just outside. Grossman, a hitter who is definitely inclined to take a lot of close pitches. And it worked to his benefit in the minor leagues, drawing a lot of walks. Take strike 3. Caught looking for the second time tonight. That's 2 out here in the 7th.
Here's our Mako big hit of the game. Came off the usual suspect for the Houston Astros. Jose Altuve got an off-speed pitch, stayed on it, drilled down that left field line. Picked himself up an RBI, driving in Robbie Grossman, and hopefully the beginning of more success for this young man. 1 hit away from 200.
That's going to be a big mark to get to, I would think, for Altuve. He's hitting .336 with that hit, and now has number 200. When he gets it going, it's just going to happen quickly, one after another. And I think he wants the baseball. 200 right here. You see the 2 fingers out.
Getting appreciation from the boys in the dugout. Logan Morrison showing his appreciation. A little bit of dap right there, but big milestone for Jose Altuve. First 200 hit season for him.
That's a big, big plateau to get to. Next in the American League, as you have Altuve at 200 now, is Ian Kinsler, Robinson Cano, Melky Cabrera, and Michael Brantley, all at 171. So they're not even close on the heels of Jose Altuve.
He has been the hit man this year. Congratulations. That's incredible stuff. That's great.
Yeah. Great stuff, Jose. And as Jeff Blum says, a big congratulations. And keep going. I mean, that's the only thing you can say.
Stop. Just keep rolling.
You've gotten to a mark that you're now going to blow by. But enjoy it for the moment. Dexter Fowler's 1 for 2 with a walk. Had his 16th double of the season. That came in the 3rd inning. Well, that's remarkable to look at the hit totals in the American League, and you expect somebody to be kind of on the tail of Altuve. It's just not the case. The great Miguel Cabrera has 170 hits. Victor Martinez, who has had that great year we talked about, 169. So Fowler down on strikes. That'll do it. A couple of strikeouts in the 7th inning. But the big part of the inning, Jose Altuve with the base hit, number 22, make that number 200 on his great year. Mariners 4-2 in this, the 3rd and rubber game of the match. Jose Altuve, 2 hits on the night. This is the 2nd of the 2 and number 200 on his year.
What a plateau for that young man to reach. He knows it. His teammates know it. Now Miguel Tejada knows it, having been passed by Jose Altuve, passing that 199 hits that Miguel did in 2009 when he was an all-star, had 46 doubles. Great teammate, much like Altuve, but now Altuve and Biggio stand alone as the only 2 to hit 200-plus hits in franchise history for the Houston Astros.
Great stuff. And you can say congratulations all you want, and it's big, but keep on going, Jose. To the bottom of the 7th we go. The Astros trying now to hang on to this 4-2 lead. Darren Downs stands on and faces the left-handed bat of Kyle Seager. Now the left-handed bat Logan Morrison waits on deck, followed by another lefty in Brad Miller. So it's an ideal inning to set up now for Darren Downs. He has a 1-1 count. Rookie right-hander Nick Tropiano got the start for the Astros and stands to win it. Tremendous outing tonight. 5 strikeouts. He went 5+ innings. 2 balls and a strike on a dangerous left-handed bat, Kyle Seager. So now 3-1. As a left-handed pitcher, you got to get those left-handed bats. On top of the 2 hits for Altuve tonight, he's also picked up a stolen base. 52nd on the year. And ball 4. Not even close from Downs. Leadoff walk to Seager. Second time Seager has drawn a walk. Right-hander Jose Veras gets it loose in the Astros pen. Tom Wilhelmsen, a right-hander throwing for Seattle as well. Downs finds the outside corner. The Astros have turned 2 double plays tonight. One started by John Singleton, the other by Matt Dominguez. Ground ball back up the middle. Right there is VR. He'll step on the bag, go to first, and the 6 unassisted 3 double play. Third turn tonight by Houston. And with that, 2 outs and the base is empty.
Pitcher's best friend. Be thankful for that. Keep throwing that ball down there. Chop it right into that shift, and it turns into a relatively easy play for Jonathan VR to get those 2 outs behind Darren Downs.
Well, that worked well, and now Brad Miller comes to the plate. Base is empty, 2 outs. The Astros going after their 65th win of the year. On 1 the count. It's one of those nights where you just almost kind of a mandate to get the W when Jose Altuve has such a big personal night.
And get that kid Nick Tropiano his first big league win. There's a little extra incentive in this game today.
Very big on top of it. And we've already been talking about it with Altuve, but now 200 hits, 40 doubles, 52 stolen bases. Altuve has joined Ty Cobb and Tris Speaker, along with George Sisler, as the only players to pick up that kind of set of numbers. Down on strikes, Brad Miller, and it winds up being just 3 hitters in the 7th, 4-2 Houston.
Lead over the Mariners. Take advantage of one of the best bargains in Minute Maid Park with the Coca-Cola Value Days package, available with specially marked Coke products. The package includes a ticket, hot dog, popcorn, and a bottle of Coke for just $16. Visit Astros.com for more info, guys.
Thank you, Julia. Plummer, I don't know if you noticed, as Tom Wilhelmsen comes on for Seattle here in the 8th inning, Astros on top 4-2. A tweet by Logwell, who kind of nailed it tonight, and he spells Altuve AL200-ve. Kind of nice.
It's fitting. Makes perfect sense on a night where he gets that 200th hit. Pretty amazing stuff.
along with number 199, along with stolen base number 52. So Wilhelmsen will work it here in the 8th inning to Carter, Singleton, and Matt Dominguez. Jose Altuve. He wasn't too pleased. He had gone 2 games without a hit. First couple of at bats tonight had an over despite lining out once back in the 1st inning. But since then, starting to make it look easy once again.
It's kind of funny. You can give Altuve a hard time right now. George Springer standing over there talking to him, getting a chuckle. Might have said, hey, I thought you were never going to get there. Makes it look so easy.
Yeah, he does.
Man.
Sure does. With the 2 hits tonight, 2 for 4, Altuve back to 337. Chris Carter has a ground ball that gets by Miller, the shortstop. And we'll see how this is ruled. Carter aboard to start the 8th inning. It's a base hit.
It's a big hit. Hey, that's 9 games.
It is 9 in a row for Chris Carter.
Yeah. It's good to see, too.
So Carter, who had struck out twice tonight, is now 1 for 4. Ball came up for the shortstop Miller and thought he might come up with it going to his left.
Piece of leather going by him, but Carter, 9-game hitting streak.
Nobody out. John Singleton takes a strike. Tom Wilhelmsen, now 30 years of age, but he's put together a very nice year. 196 earning. High chopper on the first base side. Wilhelmsen lets it drop and roll, and it goes foul. Well, he might try to pick this up before it landed and get himself an out. Maybe just simply couldn't get to it.
Look overly athletic going after it.
John Singleton gets another swing now.
This could take a while.
Yeah. The crowd, are they booing at Singleton? It's about the only thing I can figure right now.
I was to say, it can't be us.
Well, it could be.
We're likable guys.
It's very nice of you.
Well,
thanks for including me in
a
the.
little biased, but whatever.
Altuve looks like a big load's been taken off his shoulders.
Sure does. Good to see that smile back. We've seen him a little grumpier after some of those offers.
Yeah, it was starting to feel like it was a bit of a burden.
Might have been thinking about it a little too much.
Singleton swings through the curveball. He's down on strikes. First out here in the 8th inning. Brings up Matt Dominguez. That's 12 strikeouts now of Astros hitters. $16,931 on hand. Bigger crowd than last night. Matt Dominguez is 0 for 3. Jose Altuve has not struck out tonight. And that's news because Alex Presley is the only other member of this batting order that has not struck out. Matt fouls it on the right side. 0-2 the count. Mike Zunino getting a quick look at him. Good look at defensive catcher, and he's got a lot of power.
Got some depth perception issues. Oh, was 20 rows back.
It's all about the hustle.
He's gonna go get it, huh? He's tenacious too, apparently.
I think some of that screen came down. Curveball hit in the air to center field. To his left is Jackson. He'll get there to make the catch. Halfway is Carter, and he'll get back. 2 down here in the 8th inning. It brings up Alex Presley. It's called optimism, Blummer.
He's got a better chance of catching a cold than that foul ball, though.
Taking reality side real hard here in the 8th inning. Wilhelmsen with a nicely spotted heater. On top of that, 96 miles an hour. That's kind of tough.
Yeah, you talked about Wilhelmsen's numbers, and he's done quite well. Good ERA. In 2012, he had 29 saves for the Mariners. In 2013, he had 24. He's given way to Fernando Rodney, who's done an unbelievable job out of that bullpen.
Do you remember a while back? I couldn't put an exact time frame on it. We were all kind of looking at what the Astros had down the stretch, facing Oakland and LA and Oakland again and LA again, and it just looked like it could be one of those really tough finishes against teams that had incentive to win. And yet the Astros just keep on picking up W's. There goes Carter. Pitches outside. The throw down is not in time. Chris Carter has a stolen base, his second here on this road trip.
What is going on out there? Back-to-back nights for Chris Carter, stealing a bag. Hall of Fame may be looking for his cleats.
What's it going to take? One more?
Well, 17.
Yeah. They may come a calling tonight.
Man, now he's what, a 36-5 guy. Woo.
How many of those are there around the big leagues?
A good arbitration push.
I'm going to guess Giancarlo Stanton can put up that kind of number.
Good chance. Salary drive for Chris Carter.
Grabbing that left wrist. I used to do it all the time. Slide and stick the left hand down in the ground, and it was tough on the wrist.
Yeah. You're getting shredded with the dirt, and also you're putting a lot of pressure on that joint.
2 outs, a chance to pick up a run. There's a shot through the left side. Here comes Carter around the bag at third. Being waved home. The throw from left field, not in time and offline. And now into third base goes Presley. He'll slide in safely. The Astros take a 5-2 lead in the 8th inning. And a key 2-out RBI by Alex Presley.
Here's my boy, Blue.
That is your guy.
Alex, yeah. How about the hustle of Chris Carter? Listash figured if he stole second base, he's good enough to score, running right in the face of Jones out there in left field. But credit Alex Presley for the big 2-out knock on a 2-strike count. Chris Carter did a great job. Good turn, throw off line, and again another pitcher who is not backing up home plate allows that runner to advance 90 more feet. Alex Presley making it all the way around to third.
So Presley goes with the fielder's choice into second. Then the E7 moves him to third. First error for Seattle. Each club with a miscue on the night, and it brings up Max Stassi. This bottom of the order has been good. They were great back in the second inning. The top of the order, in particular, Altuve had picked it up.
Kind of plays into what Tom Wallace said when he first took over. He's got to see some guys in this lineup step up other than Altuve and Carter. And right now, that bottom of the order is picking these guys up.
And 9 Houston hits tonight.
Beautiful.
And those nights haven't been coming a whole lot lately. Some of the Seattle faithful feeling the heat right now from the Houston Astros. Pat Listash acting like he was going to try to turn a double play.
Pat Listash 2, Tarek Brock nothing. It's the official tally on the base coaching ground balls caught number.
Between those two tonight, who did you have picked?
Listash, obviously.
Okay.
He's the infielder.
I had Tarek Brock.
Tough break.
Still got an inning plus to play.
Tarek's got good hands over there,
T.
too.
Good man.
He's over there sending Chris Carter, so I would put that number on his column.
Stassi hits one high in the air to right field. Medium depth. Right there is Saunders. He'll make the catch. That'll do it. The Astros add a big run in the 8th inning. RBI hit by Alex Presley, and Chris Carter was right in the middle of it.
Leading the Mariners, bottom of the 8th. As promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game tonight. It is Edward tweeting this cute little photo from the ball game. Very nice there. Tweet your photo to hashtag CSNH fan photo for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast. That's brought to you by AT&T. We also asked you a Twitter question. Some of the best ones that you tweeted to Howard Shin today. What do you think will be the most interesting position battle for the Astros next year? We got best show on turf except shortstop. VR versus Marwin versus Correa. Are all 3 keepers, or will one be trade bait? Too much talent at one position. Also left field. Grossman's OB skills, hitting on base. Marisnik's upside. It's whether you want a leadoff guy or a middle of the order guy. Also, happy birthday to Howard Shin. Master Ho is the birthday boy.
Thanks, Julia. That's a great note on Ho Chen. So Master Ho is.
You guys can't do that.
That was. Oh, he was all for it back in Houston. Just want everybody to know that was well in play.
Well, happy birthday to Howard. I don't know if I could get that one done. You see Jason Castro coming into the game behind home plate.
So Castro takes over. And on the mound, it's Jose Veras, pitcher number 3 for Houston. Ball and a strike. Mike Zunino at the plate.
Take a look at Jose Veras' numbers on the season. These are all with the Houston Astros. 28th game for him. Great record. Solid numbers all the way across. Lefty's having a rough time against him.
Slider starts outside and finishes further out there. You know, I was talking about the Astros and the 9 hits tonight, and there haven't been a lot of those games. In fact, it's the first time the Astros since September 2nd have had as many as 9 hits. They had 8 yesterday. They had 15 back on September 2nd. That was their first game in the month of September. Here's a drive that hooks fouled on the left field side outside of the foul pole. So they've had 1 game in double-digit hits in September. And then you have to go all the way back to August 12th for the most recent time. Well, let's check the column. The column got a little fuzzy there for me, and so I'm going to revise on that one. But just 1 time in the month of September have they had double digits, 15 hits, that against the LA Angels. So nice to get into double digits tonight. Zunino stinging some balls, but pulling them foul.
Some rockets all over the place.
I'm guessing that might be part of a softball team. See the girls down on the field before the game playing catch, and they're very good. Two and two the count. Strike three called, outside corner, right at the knees. Zunino caught looking. 8 strikeouts for the Astros staff. 1 out here in the 8th inning.
Great pitch. Painting that outside corner. Nice little run back over that outer third. Locks up Zunino.
Well, that is well spotted. Brings up the 9-hitter James Jones. Just 4 Seattle hits tonight. Mariners have been playing good baseball, picking up a lot of W's, but then the Astros came to town. 2-0 the count. Mariners just started a 6-game homestand with the Astros coming in. 2-1 on Jones. The big stat that's hard to figure with Seattle this year is why they're just a .500 team at home while playing so well on the road. 42-28 on the road. It just popped up shallow in left field. Robbie Grossman coming on, but it's VR with the call and the catch. And that's out number 2 here in the 8th inning.
2015 Astros season tickets are on sale now. Enjoy some of the best seats at Minute Maid Park. Get the best value and receive great benefits throughout the season. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS now to reserve your seats. And that schedule's finally out, so everybody can take a peek at that. I know they open up at home on April 6th against the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah, it's one of those seasons that doesn't end until a week into October. And I actually thought they were getting away from that, trying to make sure the postseason and the World Series would finish a little bit earlier. And I'm not sure what comes into play to make them decide to start April 6th as opposed to 1 week earlier.
Does it have anything to do with Easter? It always seems like it's around that Easter weekend.
It might. I don't know. Of course, I think Easter's a little deeper in. Well, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know either. We're going to look at 2015 schedule. Notable dates: that opener on April 6th against the Indians, and then interleague opponents. Some interesting road trips and home stands. Giants, Rockies, Diamondbacks. So you're going through the National League West to find some of these guys. And check out the Yankees at Minute Maid Park, June 25th through the 28th. The finale will be, like Ash said, that first week of October 4th at Arizona to finish off the season. Finishing in the National League again. We finish against the New York Mets.
Yes.
To finish off this season.
In New York, so we've got the. Well, some of us have a long flight home. You've got an extra long flight home.
I'm going to join you guys on the flight back to Houston.
Come into Houston, fly from there.
Hang out, meet with some folks, and have some conversations and say my goodbyes before heading back to California for the off season. You're not done with me yet.
Can't blame a man for trying. Slider started a foot outside and wound up 6 feet in that direction. A lot of times, for whatever reason, it seems that Veras will get that slider started well off the outside corner.
I've always found it amazing he's able to throw a ball over the plate with as hard as he jerks that head out of the way. Not exactly looking directly at home plate when he releases that ball. So you saw that pitch out of the hand being a ball.
Yeah, I didn't see it turning back toward the plate.
That would be impressive, wouldn't it?
Either that or circle the stadium and come back and find the inside corner. Down on strikes, couple of strikeouts for Jose Veras. A 1-2-3 8th inning. We go to the 9th. The Astros trying to lock it down. It's 5-2 Houston. Trip of the season concludes in the city of Angels, starting with Friday night's game against Albert Pujols and the American League West leading Tustin Angels of Huntington Beach. Yes. And the pregame live will start Friday night at 8:30 p.m. only on Comcast Sportsnet.
Wide-ranging coverage of those Angels, and that Friday night pitching matchup is brought to you by Chevron. They want you to care for your car. A couple of left-handers going at it. Brett Oberholzer for the Houston Astros, looking to improve on that 5-10 record, get that ERA continuing downward. The Astros have won 7 of his last 10 starts. He's been pitching extremely well, looking to neutralize that Anaheim lineup. For the Angels, it's going to be C.J. Wilson. Last time the Astros saw him, they knocked him out in the 4th inning. Scioscia had seen enough, pulled him, and the Astros ended up winning that ball game. And you can see his career versus the Astros, 6-5 with a 4.19 ERA.
As we go to the 9th inning, it's the 5th pitcher of the night for Seattle. Blummer, it is HOU Medina on the hill.
Funky cold Medina, making his 59th appearance. Pitched last night. Solid ERA. Everybody that comes out of this Mariners bullpen has got some pretty good ERAs and pretty good numbers. Having his way with left-handed hitters. Only getting up 2 bombs in those 49 innings pitched.
First pitch of the inning misses. Jonathan Villar at the plate. He's 1 for 3 tonight. He'll be followed by Robbie Grossman. And Jose Altuve, of course. And Altuve with the 2 hits tonight, numbers 199 and 200. Right off the end of the bat of Villar. Front side really flying open there for Villar as he hits it off the end of the barrel. I love the sounds of the ballpark, don't you?
I can. Right next to that train. Hear it going by.
1-2. It just looks at times for Jonathan, from the left side in particular, that he's pulling away from the pitch, not staying through it.
No, he's flying open big time.
Got a shot there of Colin McHugh, who pitched in this series so well. And of course, Nick Tropiano, who's got a great shot of winning his first game in the big leagues. It'd be fun to listen to that conversation. Sometimes the guy making his debut can get pretty giddy, but We had some shots of Tropiano in between innings, and he just looks like he's focused. Ground ball to short. VR is thrown out. Out number 1 here in the 9th inning. VR 1 for 4 on his night. Robbie Grossman 1 for 4. Got a 5th inning single and scored a run. That was a big 4th run for Houston. Driven in by Jose Altuve, who doubled down the left field side to snap an 0 for 9 at the time. You know, it's funny. Jose had the 0 for going here in the series until that 5th inning hit, number 199. But he's going to probably long remember number 200 here at Seattle in this series.
Sure.
Certainly didn't catch him by surprise when he got that 200th hit.
That's what makes you wonder if he was thinking about it over the last couple of days.
No question. Got down to first base. Really just took kind of a jog around the bag, a very short turn, and immediately put up 2 fingers. He knew it was number 200, wanted that baseball. Tony Sipp throwing in the Astros pen. Taijuan Walker throwing for Seattle.
According to the screen out there by the bullpen, it sure is.
Ah, yes. Ground ball left side. Tough play. Miller on the run. Can't get him. Robbie Grossman has his 2nd hit of the night. And that'll bring up Jose Altuve.
We got proof. There it is. Right into that 2-hole. It's the 200th hit for Jose Altuve.
So that makes it so right there, huh?
It's official.
Got a lot of guys in the rear view. One out, Grossman aboard. Altuve hits in each of his last 2 at-bats. One of those his 41st double of the year. That's the thing about Jose. When he gets to feeling it, he'll start hacking at anything, and he can handle anything. The funny thing is, somebody will be sure to say, well, he got it back together because he started getting some good pitches to hit. Jose just handles everything.
No, he can, and he is much more aggressive when he's up there confident.
Ground ball hit to short. 2 big hops. Miller gets an out at second. That's all they'll get. Wisely just stepping back is Robinson Cano. So the force play erases Grossman. 2 down with Altuve at first for Dexter Fowler. So if the Astros hang on and win this in the 9th inning, Altuve will wind up 2 for 5 on the night. That'll leave Altuve at 336. And now we'll see if Altuve has any thoughts about running. Fowler's 1 for 3. That 52nd stolen base picked up tonight by Altuve was 3rd base. I wonder if Jose has any number in mind that he'd like to get in terms of bags. Oh, 2 on Dexter. And nobody's going to catch him.
No chance.
Jacoby Ellsbury has 38. He's 2nd. Gerard Dyson at 33. Rajai Davis was the guy early on I thought might have a shot. 32 for Rajai.
Yeah, early on he was going after it.
No sign of Altuve considering running. He's held on at first base by Morrison. 2-2 the count. JD Martinez actually may be the guy that took Rajai. Yes, he has. He had another big day today, but I was going to say he might be the guy that kind of saved Altuve in terms of the stolen bases, because when he emerged, it put Rajai Davis on the bench.
Sure did. It's a good call.
Ground ball up the middle. Gliding to his right, Cano. He'll get the out at first base, and that'll do it. So the Astros, as they go to the bottom of the 9th inning, lead at 5-2. By TXU Energy. Get TXU Energy free nights, free electricity all year long. Now with even more free hours. Call 1-866-CALL-TXU. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. Last time the Astros will play at Safeco Field this year. And again, 3 more between the two teams coming up in Houston. But the Astros trying to take 2 out of 3 at a time of the year when the Mariners need every W they can get. Tony Sipp will work it here in the 9th.
What the Astros pitching, and namely it all started with Nick Tropiano, but from the 3rd inning to the 8th inning, it's been 1, 2, 3 innings. There's been 1 walk or 2 walks, 1 hit. They've all been erased by double plays. So they've gone 1, 2, 3 in 6 straight innings. 7 Ks in those 6 innings, 9 Ks total in the game. How about that for shutting down an offense?
Yeah, hit and 2 walks involved in those innings, but the double play is coming up big. And so keep the trend going.
The Astros are going for their 4th straight series win.
Now there's a big one.
Yeah.
And again, talking about the clubs they've been playing, that becomes doubly big. Michael Saunders, Robinson, Cano, and Kendry Morales here in the inning.
Last time they've done that was back in May of 2009. May and June, I think it was covering.
The Astros won 5 straight series back in, was it May and June of 2009. Tony Sipp with that assignment now to shut it down. And a 1-2 count on Saunders. Your girls just keep making the plays.
Can't help it. It's what they do. That's why they're here. They earn the right to make those plays.
Earning the right to pick up a W tonight. Nick Tropiano. The bullpen of Downs, Veras, and Sipp trying to get it done. And the 1-2 from Tony. Strike 3 called. Caught looking Saunders. And a big first out in the 9th inning. Number 10 in terms of strikeouts of Seattle hitters.
That's just filthy. You're not happy about it right now. You go back and look at the tape and you just tip your cap and say Tony Sipp made a pitch on me.
That he did. Let's make a pitch right here. Let's go to Julia.
Well, Chad Qualls, maybe a guy you think would come in a situation. We haven't seen him a couple nights now. He is unavailable. He's having some pain in that right hip. Just doing some treatment. He's never had this before, so he's trying to figure out what it is over the next couple of days. Hopefully he'll be back to finish strong the rest of the season.
Thanks, Julia. Yeah, you have to wonder when you see Tony Sipp come on for the 9th inning what the logic might be. But there could be further logic as well with this Mariner lineup being so heavily onto that left side of the plate. And that fastball from Sipp right up over the head of Robinson Cano. Cano is 1 for 3.
Tony picked up a save in Oakland on September 5th.
Ball and a strike.
Also pitched on the first game of this series. Didn't go especially well for him.
Tony's been a workhorse.
Sure has. Been good too.
Ground ball left side. Out of the reach of Dominguez. This will be an infield single. Nice play just getting to this VR. But a 1-out single for Cano. His second infield hit of the night.
Would have been a tough play all the way around if he does stay on his feet and is able to make that throw, but really no chance.
You know, through the years, and Rod Carew is kind of one of the first guys I ran into that had this ability, but left-hand hitters who run well that can put the ball on the ground the other way tend to be guys who hit for high averages.
Yeah, it makes it tough on shortstops trying to throw across.
Good. Is now the cleanup man, the DH Kendry Morales at the plate. He's grounded into 2 of the 3 double plays hit into by Seattle tonight. And has an 0 for 3 night going. One man aboard is manageable for the Astros. That keeps that tying run away from home plate. Sipp works it with Jason Castro. Good high cheese thrown by. Astros former left fielder Tony Sipp trying to lock it down here in the 9th inning.
Is he going to have a chance in that outfield in 2015 for the Astros?
Those days may be gone.
Numbers game. Sorry.
Could he be considered the 5th outfielder?
Yes.
1-2 the count. I really shouldn't have limited him to left field. I think he played a little right as well. He's versatile.
Got to be in these days, you know.
Actually, I don't recall. I know he was in left.
I think he played right field in Arizona.
They have. One-two pitch from Sipp instead of throw to first base. Great spot to get another one of those ground balls. Sip with the 1-2. Fly ball into left center field. Robbie Grossman's going to get there. He'll make the catch. Back to first, Cano. And 2 outs now in the 9th inning. 1 out away. Astros trying to make it 2 out of 3 here from Seattle. And that puts a world of hurt on the Mariners.
Yeah, they had a real chance to take advantage of the Oakland A's losing in Chicago today. The Houston Astros creating some issues for teams down the stretch here.
They've got the Seattle Mariners 7 more games coming up against the Angels. So you can, I don't know any way you can look at that as an advantage, because they're not going to catch the Angels. They need wins. And so that's probably just a tough patch on their schedule.
Well, get the Angels to clinch, and they start subbing in and out guys and maybe break down their lineup a little bit and
That's
take
a good
advantage
point.
of that, maybe.
Because they've got such a big lead. The Angels start the day 8 games in front of Oakland. Yeah.
You better not let up on those Oakland A's. You don't want to wake them up.
No.
Keep pounding on them if you can.
Ball and a strike now on the left-handed bat of Kyle Seager. 0 for 1. He's walked a couple of times and scored a run.
Pitcher's pitch, and he gets the call.
Three infielders on the right side. Matt Dominguez, the only member of the infield on the left side. And Matty D wisely drawing in, because this is one of those scenarios. You played back. Seager could very likely just drop a bunt to put that tying man at the plate.
Yeah, just get some base runners out there. We saw a big home run last night off of Colin McHugh from Logan Morrison, who's on deck.
High drive right field. Deep down in the corner. Presley right up against the wall, makes the catch. Kyle Seager hits it as far as you can to keep it in the ballpark, and Alex Presley makes the catch. So the Astros come into Seattle and take 2 out of 3 over the M's, and big wins they are. Number 65 tonight for Houston. Jose Altuve hits number 199 and 200. And then there's Nick Tropiano. His major league debut, picks up the W and has a nice big smile to take on down to Anaheim. 5-2 the final for the Astros to win it tonight.